let's go ahead and move forward to the next game. And this is a battle in Texas. We got the DF Dub against the H Town, baby. And, TCU, a team that is now entered the level of not just Texas and Texas, not just like the eighth school in Texas anymore. Now they're right up there, right behind the Horns. It's a real thing now over in Fort Worth, Texas, for TCU, who's came a very long way too, Jeff. This team used to play in the in the old Conference USA, but it was the good Conference USA though. Cincinnati, Virginia, West Virginia, Louisville, the old guard that was there. So, TCU always has been a rival to Houston. You know that these two schools, their rivalry was in the Conference USA for a long time as well, too. And as we know, TCU left first when they went to the Big 12. No, Houston left first. I'm sorry. So pretty much, these guys know each other very well. It's a traditional rivalry, and we all know that TCU is a team that's in a rebuild phase. Literally the whole school left. The whole team left. That's why Prime and Crew. That was a great win, but you didn't beat the guys that played in the national championship. You beat the guys that go to TCU now. So that's something that you can put into play for that game. But that kind of shows you where TCU is going to be at this year. They're not going to be one of the better Big 12 teams this season. And I already knew that coming into this year, to be honest with you, because actually they were very ahead of schedule. A lot of people don't know that. They were very ahead of schedule last season. And now, since they're seen as a good team, it's going to get really tough. But they will pull off some upsets during the season as well, too. That's something that we can't give them. But Houston's not the same team anymore. Let's just go ahead and get to that part. Because Houston has a coach that's absolutely awful. The guy left West Virginia. He left the Power Five to go to the Mid Five. And now Houston's a Power Five school, and that's absolutely historic for a school that it's long overdue. But I feel like them coming to the big time, the Power Five, it's going to be a work in progress for these guys. And this is going to be a game that really favors TCU more than anything, in my opinion. And TCU coming in here as a 7.5-point favorite, they should be favored by more. Because when you lose to Rice, yeah, you got some problems, Jeff. Jeff, real problems. You lose to Rice by 7, Rice is everybody's gimme game in Texas for the bigger schools. They're a tune-up. And when your tune-up beats you, then we got some problems over here. Because now you're a tune-up. And that's how I see TCU treating Houston. I know they're going to treat it as a rivalry game, but this is what happens when your rival becomes your tune-up. And I think that they're going to beat them by 10 or better. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Our sheet had 6.5 with a 62. So first thought process, 34-27, somewhere in there. Now it's up to 7.5 with a 64 or 64.5. Again, you could go and look at one side and say Houston was peaking. TCU gets the big upset loss week 1. They get back on track. Again, not last year's national championship team. Houston, I guess we could say rebuilding. They're going to be in for a long, long year. Don't have, again, I'd like to say Houston can hang around here, but I hope, and I'm probably thinking this out, will say TCU will learn a lot from that loss against Colorado and be able to look back and put some wins together and say, wow, that Colorado team was really, really good. So I am looking at the same way you are here. You can grab TCU minus the 7.5. I think it will be a high-scoring game. Will it get up into the 70s? I don't know. I think TCU's defense actually will be will be able to slow down Houston a few more times than vice versa. So I like TCU minus the 7 or 7.5 pups.
Hey, I love it. I love it. And I think that it's a great play. And I think that a lot of people have to think like that because Houston kind of lost trust, man. I'm sorry. With that Rice loss, they lose a lot of trust because now they're playing against a team that's actually really good. You know what I mean? Because the first 2 weeks of the season, you played, I think they beat UTSA the first week of the year, and they were not the favorite in that game against San Antonio of all teams and barely beat them. And I know San Antonio is way better now, but there's still you're still in an inferior conference compared to what you're in, meaning that your roster should be much better. But UTSA has a good coach. That's the thing about them. And they've worked themselves into a good situation. Let's go ahead and jump into